everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Extra Time presented by In 90 Minutes Podcast. Luke's unable to join us tonight, so in his place, we have the legendary, the man, the myth, the legend, David Valentin. David,
What's happening,
how you
John?
been doing?
Doing good. Still on the road, away from home in a hotel. Hence the opportunity to join you on Extra, a show that in some weeks outperforms the main show. Surprisingly.
Yeah, somehow. Um, for such a short show, I thank you to everybody that's listening, watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube so you never miss a show. Make sure that little bell's clicked off so you get the notification um, for when our shows do come up, for when our lives do come up. And if this is your first time watching us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, to follow us on all of our socials as well. That way you can stay up to date on the club. You can hear our opinions, see our silly little bits. There's still a video that I'm waiting for David's approval to put out there from last week's show
No, you can go ahead
that
and do that.
that he talked about showing up to Atlanta in a thong. So keep an eye out for that. We may be posting that here in a couple days. Um, but a couple quick things to get off the plate news wise. We finally have a release date for our new jersey. It's August 13th. It's a Thursday evening. Um, Club actually took our advice and put it at a reasonable time for regular people that work. 7 p.m. doors open to general public if you're Society 21. Obviously, get a little bit special treatment there because that means you've been a season ticket member since the start. So they get to come in a half hour early, but everybody else it's 7 p.m. You do have to either I didn't see anything on the website yet, but either go into your email or go on to either X or any of the social medias and go ahead and click that link because you do have to register for it. You'll get tickets. Um, and you'll go, you'll sign up for it like, through the link and everything. It's like a Google form that you just fill out.
Right.
And then the other bit of news, club related, is Nicholas Ladero. I know he wasn't great. He wasn't what we were hoping for while he was here, but he was still a great representative of our league for many years. Officially announced his retirement tonight. Long career with Seattle. Jumped over to us late in his career. And unfortunately, it wasn't quite what he was hoping for and what we were hoping for. But hats off to him for a great career. The first MLS team to win the CONCACAF, really the only in that format, team to win the CONCACAF Champions League from the MLS in that format. There's only been two that's ever done it. So that's a big deal for him. Especially, I'm sure he'll enjoy his retirement with his family.
No, absolutely. Earn rightfully a place in the Club World Cup, like other clubs that are gifted the opportunity just because Infantino decides so. Congrats to him. Like you said, a great representative of the league. In his short time here, he left his brick on the wall as far as Orlando City. We wish him the best. I believe he retired with Nacional, and I hope that now he gets to rest and whatever's next, that is as successful as his football career. As far as the third kid, there's some pictures on online that indeed the kid is gonna be red. It's not gonna be the red that was original in 2011, but nonetheless, it's a homage to a particular time in our history as a club. one that none of us really, for the people that were there. And I I I have talked to people and they're like, "Oh man, I wish I would have been around 2011. You know, you guys are so special." And in my case, I just happened to be lucky that my wife was working at Orlando Health, and and the employees were getting tickets, and that's how I got into Orlando City. At the time, I traveled the Caribbean and the Southeast Monday to Friday, sometimes Sunday to Friday, in my job that I had. And So I wasn't really in tune what was happening in town. And 2011 is a special moment because it's the birth of our club. We win a championship in PKs, improbable moment. We were literally a minute and 30 seconds away from losing that game, and Dennis Chen, it gets fouled in the area, and I believe it was Louis Neal who puts away the tying goal, and then we go to PKs, and we win the darn thing in front of 11,000 people. Yours truly was there. It also was a game where Miguel Gallardo was red carded, and a man who is a club legend, and I have argued that the award for like MVP of the season should be named after him. Sean Kelly, Amanda has retired since and lives in Colorado, and I believe he works in sales. He just has like a regular job. He was the MVP. This man was incredible. Saved two of the PKs, granting Orlando the opportunity to lift that trophy. At this event, John, oh, they are going to. I don't know if they're gonna play the whole 90 minutes. If that's the case, I'm gonna bow out because I gotta work the next day. They're gonna play probably the highlights, hopefully, of the 2011 game. There's gonna be the trophy's gonna be available for people to take pictures, and most likely the usual suspects of the USL crowd that still live in town are gonna be available. I think, and I finish with this. I think it's important for the people, even if you miss the USL era, to honor it. People that follow clubs that are like 100 years old were not around when their team lifted their trophy in 1917. Yet they know that history. They cherish that moment. They bring it up in conversation or in arguments. So we should be the same. We shouldn't extract ourselves from the USL era if you were not part of it because you just happen to not live in town or not be into football all the time, or just just you were not aware that we had a club. Because quite honestly, I remember telling my wife on the way home, uh, we're going home. This city doesn't know is a USL champion tonight. So yeah, I'm excited for that. The color red, as far as kids, it's something that people have been asking for a long time. I believe it's gonna be the second kid with the three-headed lion, just like we had with the away kit for the last 2 years, which in my opinion is the in my opinion the best away kit that we ever had. I'm not too crazy about the yellow kits that came out this year. I associate them with failure, to be quite honest. And I got something too embarrassing to say. When we were playing Nashville, for a while, I was like looking at the Nashville players as if they were our players because just what I'm saying. Like it did not dawn on me that, oh wait, we're at home, so we're the purple ones. So if you can make it, please go, and more money to spend, I guess, on it's because right now, and when I get home, I'm gonna probably gonna take a picture. John, my side of the closet is all football shirts, and my wife begs me to like buy any other type of clothing, but unfortunately, I can't. I counted the last time. The ones that I wear, 32 of them, John, and not including the ones that are signed that obviously are gonna be going on the wall soon.
Yeah, no, I mean it's. I can't wait to see what they are. I'm probably not buying it this year because I'm overbuying kits that just, you know, are out of style in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Um, One other piece of news as well is that it was announced today that the U.S. men's national team is going to be returning to our stadium, playing Peru on, and I lost the date already, of course,
September
September
26th, I believe.
26th. All right, let me double check that here.
An opportunity to see El Pulpo and Yoshi Yotun again in house.
Good luck because tickets in the pre-sale, which somehow, yeah, yep, September 26th. It's a Saturday. Tickets right now are ridiculous. Tickets for the wall are going $90 and up. Yeah, we'll see what happens when the pre-sale's over. I'm not sure why I have access to them, but I do.
Hmm.
Um, so we'll see. Not going to that one for sure because it's just too expensive. Um, yeah. Any other piece of news, David, that you can think of?
Oh, and by the way, that same day we're playing away at Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, we're playing away. I wanted to see if so. Basically, at the same time that the friendly's being played, Orlando City's playing in Philadelphia. Um, I gotta be honest. I already had checked the box of going to a friendly for the U.S. national team. My family and I can go to our deathbed saying we watch the national team play, especially at home. I've seen the national team twice against Trinidad and against Panama. And the game against Trinidad was fairly affordable. The one against Panama was a complete madhouse. I probably paid what most people's card note is in a month, you know. And Yeah, it's the national team has become so cost prohibitive for families, especially for middle class folks. And I come on the show and I always, oh, I'm rich. But in reality, no seriousness. I got bills like everybody else. The guys here on the show, we're all heads of household, with the exception of Luke. We work and going to a national team game, especially one that is meaningless because it's a friendly, is right now a luxury that I can give myself. So if you can make it, God bless you.
And by the way, the U.S. game that's here is starts at 4:30, and our
Oh,
game in Philadelphia starts at
7:30.
7:30.
Okay, great.
So if the club was smart, they would hold an event for those participating afterwards to watch the match. But we know they're not going to do that.
Listen, John, we say it. Listen, and to the audience, little secret here. There's so many things we have said on this show that had come to fruition is not even funny. In this show, this is why I tell Luke the thing about kicking towards the wall on the second half. That most likely is going to happen. I gotta tell you why, because we have harping on things in this show that magically appear. You know how many 2 years I was begging the club to put fans in the concourses because it's hot, and the body odor, smell, the humidity, all that was, and that saved the day on the last game where we had that rain delay. Imagine if you would have packed 25,000 people like sardines in those concourses with no water, no breeze, no nothing. So there's a lot of things that happen that we have said on the show that come to be.
OCB tickets being included in the season ticket.
Yeah.
You can get a
Oh,
full
the
season
OCB.
ticket.
Listen, the OCB tickets. We are going to blow that win under our wings, John. That's us.
Well,
Uh,
and it started when the show was young, David. I mean, you
yeah.
remember in the second year in 2024, we were talking on the show. It was just me, you, and Ahmed doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
And we were talking. The season had just begun for us, or was getting ready
Uh-huh.
to start, and we were talking about OCB, and we're like, why don't they give tickets away for it?
Yeah. It's
And then literally 2 days later, big announcement from the club all over their social medias and everything that um, you know, season ticket members got a free ticket to the OCB opening match, and that
And
thing
it
was
has,
packed. If
yes,
you
and it has
remember.
been highly successful, John. It's free parking.
Yep.
You know, concessions are not the best, but you know, it's a county facility, which I believe. Don't quote me. I have heard from people that there's going to be investments in making the stadium and the facility more hours. Because I mean, quite honestly, when you go to the games, you know, you're in a what used to be a baseball stadium, and so they're gonna be working on that. But if you go for the football and you don't pay for concessions, it's a free event, you know, and you get to and now that we have seen OCB players make the move to the first team and beyond, you don't know who you're gonna see develop there into the next superstar. And on top of that, and we said all the time, it's an opportunity to like sit next to first team players, managers, front office staff. It's a great and awesome opportunity. So if you have never been to an OCB game and you're a season ticket holder, you got free tickets. All you gotta do is ask for them and go and enjoy yourself. And by the way, there it's not like if you have one ticket, season ticket, they give you one ticket. You can get up to four, regardless of how many season tickets you have. So if you have one season ticket and you want to bring friends that probably have never been exposed to the game or that you know can't usually go to OCB games on a regular basis, this is the opportunity to
Yeah, I mean,
go.
just the last home game, my son went up to Justin Ellis and said hi at halftime, and I he'd said hi, he met Justin before, so he kind of knew who we were, and I had a, you know, 5-10 minute, definitely not 10, but probably about 5 minute conversation with Ellis, just you know, just talking about the matches and making sure he was okay from the Nashville match because you remember he went down
Yeah.
and everything, and it was a good conversation just about everything that's going, everything that's kind of going on, with him and the club and everything, and
Mhm.
so and Osceola Heritage Park is getting a revamp. The county is putting $25 million towards it, and we're
What?
we're funding for the whole park,
Oh, for the
Yeah,
Super Spurs and all that other stuff.
yeah. So the remodel of what Orlando City uses is supposed to be expand the training ground, having 10 grass fields, 4 is reserved for goalkeepers, 2 turf fields near the stadium, a covered pitch, a new clubhouse. Um, and then the other thing that's going to happen is with this, because they're going to be expanding the clubhouse area, which I
Mhm.
would assume would be the offices and everything, the coaches' offices and everything. The Orlando Pride are also going to start training there, and their offices will be there as well.
Okay.
So, we'll see what they do about the concessions because it is what it is. They're not going to go all out and have Four Rivers there to, feed,
I know.
500 people twice a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is exciting to hear that. It is exciting to see what they're able to do. Hopefully, they make the stadium part look more like a soccer stadium or a soccer pitch than something that's that it is a recycled baseball stadium.
Yeah.
But it is a fun time. You get to meet after the match if you like to get autographs or
Oh, brother.
bobbleheads or whatever. You
Yes.
go down to the lowest the section right next to the field, and the players come right up to you. Um,
Which,
you
by the
know,
way, John, what interesting thing to me is that while Pride and Orlando City players are usually available for these signing events, we never see OCB players.
mhm.
Which I think one of the things that came out of this show. Today we're gonna be blowing our own horn, and we're not gonna be ashamed about it. On this show, we were begging for merch, OCB merch, and they put out the jersey at very limited quantities. I managed to purchase one, and I was super excited about that. I thought that there will be more. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Why at OCB games we don't have OCB merch? I missed my calling. I should have been a marketing genius, executive.
Well, I'm hoping with this revamp that they will have, a little area for merch.
Yeah, man, come
Um,
on, it's just like a pop up tent.
yeah,
People
no,
want
definitely.
to support OCB, and this is the thing, Joe. One of the things that I'm starting to see is a lot of people giving OCB a lot of love. For a while, OCB was a very neglected brand. When OCB started, the first year they were playing in Melbourne, unfortunately, wasn't supported like it should have. Then he was brought into the stadium, and they had a very very poor attendance. Then they went out to Mount Verde. Remember that era, and it did not do very well. And since they've been in Kissimmee, um, it was going downhill again. But this offering of first making the tickets available, because originally they were charging as if it was the first team, which I thought was outrageous. And not because the football was bad or anything. Is quite honestly, it's not the experience that you get when you go to Inter and Co Stadium. And not not to offend anybody, but I mean, you're talking about a soccer specific stadium versus a baseball stadium converted into a football pitch. And I think there's so much potential with OCB, because anybody that has followed football knows that the academies and the reserves do have a following. My teams tend to make those games available free or for some pocket change, just to pay for the staff that manages the area that day. But I think, yeah, I would like to see more merch for OCB. I would like to see, which by the way, the jerseys that they have available, they sold them all.
Yeah,
Okay, they sold them all. I would like to see that, and I would like to see the boys having their own events. Where they'll be available. Because I think also motivates the guys to to do better. To get the excitement of being part of the first team allure, right?
mhm.
But yeah, I would like to see a lot of that. If the person that manages to listen to our show or watch our show, uh, you know,
And
we're
it's
gonna
one
ask
of
questions.
those to me. If you enjoy the sport and you just enjoy the sport, if you're one of those people like David or myself or a ton of other people that maybe you did or didn't play when you were younger, but you just enjoy watching the sport. It's nothing beats going to an OCB match because you hear the kick of the ball, you hear every little click and nick and everything, especially if it's right there in front of you. And I
Hmm.
mean, you can literally get pitch side, and it's all the same price.
Yes.
And I just looked on Ticketmaster just to make sure I was giving correct information. It's taxes and fees included. Um, is $15.90 a ticket
For OCB.
for OCB.
Okay.
Free parking. Same security guidelines as going to any other sporting event anymore. It has to be a clear bag, no liquids,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
all of
same
that.
rules apply as the
Yeah,
first.
but you sit where you want, and it's very much got a high school feel to it because you see a
Yes.
lot of the families there, a lot of the opposing families are there. Um, and it's just you're just watching soccer. It doesn't have the hoopla of the senior team with the big video board and all the lights that affect and everything. Yeah, they play a
No
song as they
Kingston.
come out. They play Seven Nation Army as the right before kickoff, and if there's a hydration break, they play. But that's just to fill the dead air. There's not, it's pure, it's pure soccer. It's pure,
Yes.
very pure sport, and the guys never quit. I mean, the guys. I mean, think about the Miami match that we've been talking about that was at the big stadium.
Mm-hmm.
We were down. What was it? 4-3, not 4-0 at half. 4-1 at half.
We scored. That game was insane because we came back from what at halftime should have been a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was a lot. Actually, that was the at that game, this when they had the jerseys.
Yes, yes.
I remember that. By the way, $100. I pay for mine gladly because obviously I can't come to you saying, "Oh, do this," and then I opt out, right? But it was a great game. The OCB games are OCB games are a lot of fun. So I encourage everybody
Yeah, it was
to
three
give them
three to
a.
one at half, got up to 4-1 in the 49th minute. Um and then Ellis scored, and then Caraballo came on, and Caraballo happened with two goals, including an
Mhm.
Olympico, which
By
I've
the
never
way,
seen in person.
Gustavo Carvalho turns 18 this month.
Yep.
Which reminds me that now you are going to see a lot more of him in the first team. Before, obviously, he was a minor, and there was some restrictions with that. On that note, today is the third birthday of Ivy, the unofficial member of the show. You probably hear her screaming or you're laughing or talking on the background when I'm recording at home. So we, as a family, we're very excited for that. 2 more years kindergarten. Here we go. So Gustavo, there's gonna be. I see a lot of him in the first team. I believe that we're gonna see a lot of him in this League's Cup tournament because we already seen the roster. Uh, uh, Nacho Gomez is the guy that I am most excited about. I was hoping that he was going to be signed this window, and I believe that's not going to happen. Most likely, it's going to be in the winter. We are going to need all the help we can in the bridge season, as it's called.
Sprint
Uh,
season. Sprint season.
right, exactly. And but what a lot of people that know about football more than me are saying is the summer window in 2027 is going to be the biggest for our league because obviously we are going to be at pause at the same time as the rest of the world, and we're going to be starting the season in August. So for the first time, we're going to be taking advantage of being in tune with the rest of the world as far as
Well,
the transfer window.
we won't be, though, because the rest of the world, the transfer opens on July 1st. The window does.
Right, but
Us, we wait until July 13th for some reason to start it on July 13th.
mhm.
So, that's kind of the next step in it. And then the other thing I do have to correct you on is the league's supposed to start um, in either the second to last or the last week of July.
Oh, is that how they're gonna do it?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Ah,
supposed to be very similar to the
so,
restart
so,
that we had this year.
so I thought that we were going to be August to May. That was the. Or is this
So
just?
there's gonna be one or 2 weeks in July,
Mm,
and then we're going until May. So we're actually taking less time off than the current calendar.
really? Uh, I mean, I can see why they're probably doing that just to extract as much as possible from the dead of winter games. Which, by the way, a lot of people, I get tired of telling this to people. We're not Europe. Europe is 15 degrees warmer than North America. Therefore, they can get away with playing in the dead of winter. I think our league, John, maybe mimicking more of what you see in the Scandinavian and Russian leagues, where they probably gonna take off half of December, half of January, all of January, and then kick off in February. What
Yep.
I don't want to see, John, um, is this what we're seeing now, where our league trying to rush to get to the 34 games for the season are going to have August, September, October so jam packed with games that you're gonna see teams playing Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. And to me that's so counterproductive, man, because the product suffers. maybe the first 1, 2, 3 games your team is performing, but after that, what you will see is exhausted legs and people trying not to get hurt,
Mhm.
or players or stars getting hurt or being rested, and then perhaps playing your bench that may not be as flashy as the first team,
Definitely.
and to me that to me worse than no football is poor football.
Hmm.
And if you are going to ask me to pay my hard-earned money to go to the game, which, by the way, going to the games is an enterprise on its own. I am blessed that I live fairly close to the stadium, but for other folks, it's tolls, gas, parking. The guys that sit next to me, and your World Season ticket holders, these three guys come from Melbourne, so
Hmm.
that's an hour plus
Yeah, I
tolls.
mean, I have friends that come from Melbourne, come from Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
come from the Port St. Lucie and even
Wow,
south of there. I mean, there's people I've seen on the Facebook group that come in from South Carolina
that's
every
crazy,
week
man.
or every match. So this is a chart. I just googled it. It's from Instagram from Minnesota from their Instagram account. Just kind of showcasing the what the schedule is going to look like. Um, so July through middle of December is going to be play. Then we're taking half of December, all of January, and half of February off. Then March, April, and May is going to finish up the regular season. And May, the playoffs and MLS Cup are also going to happen. June's off, and then we start right back up in the middle of July.
Hmm. All right. I,
So
I,
you see
I
the
gotta be
20,
honest.
2027 season, the sprint season,
Yeah,
right there in the beginning, and then the regular, what's
I
called
gotta
the
be honest, John.
regulation
I'm not
season.
gonna miss the hot days or the rain delays.
But we're
Uh,
still going to see them.
well, I mean, the
I
lesser,
mean,
lesser.
most of the rain here comes in July and August.
Uh,
In the middle of the day. June, you see it a little bit, but it's still a lot at night. But then
yeah.
July, July and August, especially into September, you see the storms during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're still going to see it. We've been lucky the last 3 or 4 years where we've only really had, well, the U.S. Open Cup in 22 is different. There was like one every match because we played every one at home. So it was like every Wednesday it rained at like
Yeah,
six
yeah,
p.m.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the MLS season, we've been very lucky that we've only really had we had two last year. One was only like a 20-minute delay, and then we had the really long one that was like 2.5, almost 3 hours. And then we had the one this year so far that's 40. That was like 45 minutes or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you've been lucky, but we will still see those. What's going to be interesting to me is how they talk about in the games in late October into November, and then the ones we have in late February and into March, that the Southern teams are going to see the majority of the home matches. So, what's the last? The thing that's interesting to me is what's the last month of the season going to look like? That's typically very critical for playoff positioning.
I don't like that, John. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because then that means, first of all, I'm okay with maybe 1 or 2 games in a row at home. But the fun part of the way we have now is that sometimes weeks go by without home games. So when the home game comes, there's the expectation, there's the excitement. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you make every week a game day, I think it's gonna lose the allure, and other people find themselves with conflicting events and things and work and whatever, and the attendance may be hurting there for a minute. But how of a competitive disadvantage is that at the end of the season, when you're rushing to get over the line and make playoffs, now you are making us go on the road against hostile fan bases and long distances, while the the northern teams, quote unquote, get to sit down at home and rest. I don't. I honestly, we have to find a happy medium, my friend. We have to find a happy medium with that. I'll let the league decide. Now that we know that we have the expectations with a new commissioner, I know jury's still out there with that. I'm a positive person by nature, very hopeful, and I wanna think positive unless otherwise proven differently. And I hope that this change is for the better. I say it all the time. I was 20 years old when this league started. I remember how poor it was in the first 5 years of the league. This league almost died in 2001. I have said that between 2002 and 2007, this league was not worth watching, and that may hurt some people, but it was really really bad. And David Beckham comes in and ushers this era of expansion where we come in as a club and we have seen the explosion of fandom and of quality for MLS. So I'm of the belief that things will get better. I know I have said it, there's people online that make money out of doom and gloom because hating on MLS is profitable. Hating on MLS drives foot traffic to sites and social media. If you're gonna be criticizing the league without any objectivity, I'm just gonna block you because I'm not gonna put money in your pocket by me telling you how much of an idiot you are. But just going on a tangent.
Let's go a little bit more into that though, David.
Mhm.
Because that's always recently, especially that's been a hot topic, and especially with the new commissioner who doesn't seem to be a fan of promotion and relegation. Obviously,
Yeah.
he's owner and soon to be former owner of LAFC. Since this is what this show's made for, is to get to the stuff that we don't have time in the main show to get to. Um, and I'll give my opinion on it, on promotion and relegation first, and then see what you think about it. But like, the idea of promotion and relegation, do I like it? Yes, I love it. I think it'd be exciting for this league. I love the promotion battles overseas. I love the relegation battles overseas. But it's not functional for the sports fan in the United States. You look at the attendance, the difference in attendance versus the USL Championship and the MLS. You look at the difference in the the just take us for instance. You talked about it on Monday night. The difference from when we were in USL, our average attendance and our biggest crowd, I mean, was what, 10, 11,000 people, to all of a sudden the very next year, 10 months out, 8 months, whatever it is, 6 months after the our last USL season ended. Um, and we jump in, and all of a sudden, the first match in MLS, we have 65,000 people in the Citrus Bowl.
Hmm.
So, and it's that way all over sports. You
Indeed.
look at Major League Baseball, and it's a little bit different. It is different, but you look at Major League Baseball and you look at the minor league baseball and how their attendance isn't great. And I would actually argue percentage of capacity wise, the lower leagues actually beat out Major League Baseball. Believe it or not, going to several. I go to Daytona Tortugas occasionally, and it's relatively full. But you look at the numbers and they just aren't there. You look at the vast difference in facilities. You know, Hypothetically, let's say the MLS USL merge, which is really the only way, in my opinion, the only way the MLS would institute a promotion relegation system. But let's say they merged. You look at us, we have a decent sized stadium for a soccer specific stadium in the MLS. 24,000, almost 25,000, it's like 24,500 and something. since they added the new seats. Um, and you look at what the USL has, what the championship has. I mean, we're talking 10, 15,000 seats, 15,000 being the maximum right now.
Mhm.
And you look at the USL, and one of the more dominant teams in Louisville, I don't even think they reach 15,000 unless they've changed stadiums. But I know when Cincinnati when they were in USL, Louisville beat our record, our attendance record, and it was like 12 to 13,000 in attendance. It wasn't
Yeah.
even like crazy. So there's that, and then also the second thing is to get the owners. They would have to completely restructure the league in the way it's done, in my opinion. It wouldn't be a franchise. Clubs wouldn't be franchises anymore. It would be
Yeah, independent clubs like
it'd be
everywhere
independent
else.
clubs.
Mhm.
And how many owners are willing to take that risk? Because that comes with I would be willing to bet a lot more risk than reward.
Yes, I agree
Because
with you.
think about somebody like Miami, who has all the star power in the world right now, able to charge $200, $150 for their cheapest seat,
Hmm.
versus somebody like Sporting Kansas City. You know,
Uh, it, Promotional relegation is a very sensitive topic because there is a very vocal minority that is that is very vocal, um, and they're like promotional relegation is the magic bullet. And my argument to that, and by the way, I think the clubs that I follow overseas are on opposite ends of the promotional relegation pyramid. For example, Maccabi Haifa is top two in that nation. Is very popular. Has been in the UEFA's championship, the Champions League, and it's a club where money's not an impediment. It's not an issue. It has a huge following. Has a huge stadium, um, 30,000 people, which maybe like an MLS size, but for a country the size of uh, smaller than Florida, that's plenty. And then you have Stevenage, which sits 8,500 people in their stadium, very small. I would like to concentrate on Stevenage for my example. In 1996, Stevenage won the National League, or the conference as it was known then, and they should have been able to get promoted to League Two. Unfortunately, the stadium, the grounds at the time, failed to meet the criteria to get promoted. Also, the financials of the club were not there. In order to get promoted to the professional league, you have to meet certain expectations, and that happens with promotion. That's why if you go to League One and League Two, and you're seeing teams, clubs that used to be in the EPL. Perfect example. League One this year is going to have Lutton, is going to have Leicester City. Um, Last year we had Birmingham City in the league. There's a lot of uh, teams that when they get relegated, they come with a big stadium that they now can't fill because the interest is not there, because there's a segment of the fan base that while they're fanatical, there's the casuals, there's the tourists. EPL right now is a 55% tourist, meaning people that do not live in the city or the country are fans of the club, and they have made a trip to go watch that game. So it's not like tourists like, oh, I'm here to see Buckingham Palace and I'm just gonna go catch a game. There may be some of that, but what they classify tourists is like fans that don't live in the country, don't live in the city, and they're just here to watch the game, jump, get out of the game, jump on an airplane, and leave. And that setting has priced out a lot of fans. The bonanza is the community clubs, as they're called. You know, the teams in Championship, League One, League Two, National League, and so on, have benefited because people that have been priced out or no longer feel that there's a scene for them or a representation of their community, they get to support the smaller clubs. So that happened to Stevenage in 1996, and they would have to wait 16 more years before they had the opportunity to go up to the professional league to League Two, and then get promoted to League One. As of right now, friends are telling me that they had a meeting with the chairman, with the what who you know, the owner slash GM for the club. They have a meeting with him every year, because the season ticket holders are seen as investors, which they really are, because the club heavily depends on the ticket box in this type of settings. And they were told, if we are to get promoted this year, since last year we fell short making it into the playoffs, they will have to add 10,000, close to 10,000 more seats, something like that. Basically, they will have to eliminate the East Terrace, which right now is standing only, very traditional English type of setting. They will have to get rid of that. They will have to put seats, and they will have to add a second level to the stadium. There's things that they will have to do to the pitch to prevent it from freezing. This costs money. These things cost money, and if you're gonna go up to get back down, that is counterproductive. That's that's kind of counterproductive. So, like John said, when we were in USL, our attendance was about 3,000 to 3,500 per game, which for lower league is fantastic. Is no 25,000, 20,000, 15,000 that we've been seeing in MLS. Even in the worst of times, worst of seasons, we have seen high attendance compared to a USL era where friends, like I said on the main show, every season. I don't. You don't have to take my word for it. You can Google it. Every season that we played in USL, you could count the defeats with one hand because we were that good. And even then, the club struggled to bring people through the door. And my first season, which was 2011, was in a dilapidated Citrus Bowl in a part of town that most people do 90 miles an hour through because it's crime, again, I don't mean to stereotype people or offend anybody, but it's what it is. OBT, it's for many years has been an area that was neglected. I'm glad that the city of Orlando and Orange County are trying to do something about it. But the fact is that it's an area that after the game you just rented your car and got out of there before the police.
Put it in perspective, David, because I looked it up
Yeah,
while you
brother,
were
go ahead.
saying it. In 2014, our average attendance was a little over 4,700.
Yes, because we were at ESPN's Wild World Sports at Disney, and by the way, the hour that's a sold out, John. That's a sold out because the maximum capacity of that place is 5,100, if I'm not mistaken, and 5,100 because the club added bleachers on the north and south side of the pitch.
So you go the
So
year prior when we were still at the Citrus Bowl, it was 8,000.
8,000.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, our highest attendance was 10,000, 697th.
Right.
But you compare that to last season, which we could argue was a down season for the club. We didn't do well. You got to think, 2013 we won the regular season
No,
and
2022 we won the championship.
the
We,
championship.
we
Sorry, it was
missed we
2012.
missed yeah, we missed the
We won
regular
the
season
double.
by
Okay,
a
my
point.
apologies.
No, it's
It's
okay,
long
brother.
ago, and I was only I'll admit I was only a casual fan at that time.
Yeah, out of the 4
Um,
years we won the regular season.
so we were coming off of a championship year,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Winning the double as well, right? It was 2012 we won the double, regular season and the
2011.
postseason. 2012,
2011 we
okay.
won the double.
So we're coming off of winning a double, winning the regular season the next year, and our
Who won
average
the regular
attendance,
season in 2014 as well, John?
and our average attendance was only 8,000, a little over 8,000.
Right, and you know the thing that hurt attendance at Disney was it was really way out there,
Hmm.
and you know Disney was not a good host, and you know I know they're a sponsor, and but you know we have to say what it is. They were not too thrilled about the chants from the supporters. They were not too thrilled about the pre gaming. They were not too thrilled about the tailgating. They wanted us to show up, watch the game, cheer, yay, and then get out of there. And they never respected the culture of the club or the sport because, quite honestly, is Disney property, and the what that area, which by the way, for those that don't know, is the same setting where MLS is back was played in 2020. That area is designed for tournaments, you know, like youth tournaments. It was never for professional football. Um,
Let me tell you though, the matches in 2014 were, as far as from like supporter culture,
yeah.
in my opinion, were for the better, nothing like they are today.
Oh,
Those matches in 2014, I never got into with the supporters when we were in USO. I didn't in 2015. I was able to. Those matches were it was almost, if we had a bigger stadium and we're averaging the 8,000 fans we were the year prior, the city would have shut every home match down. It was that
without a doubt,
crazy.
without a
Flares,
doubt.
smoke, everything all around. It was crazy. But yeah, last year, a down year for us. Coming off of the disaster the year prior, that was the Eastern Conference Final.
Yes.
We averaged a little over 20,500. So we averaged
Wow.
over 12,500 more fans
No, for sure.
than we did coming off of two very successful seasons in USL.
Yeah, and you know, and John, to go back to the attendance because I think it's very critical. Um, what better example to make our point across in our last game in USL, which was a semifinal. Let me reiterate that it was a semi-final that we lost against the Harrisburg City Islanders simply because they had seven Philadelphia Union loanees, and you know the golfing talent finally caught up with us. A semifinal. And you can watch the game is in it's all these games are available online. You can watch them with Tom Traxler and Jeff. You know, may his memory be a blessing. Jeff Radcliffe. Those games are available. You can watch them and you can relive pretty much our seasons. Um, that game had 6,000 people there. A semifinal. Fast forward, and that was I believe that was in October. Fast forward to March of the following year, you had 65, 67,000 people at the Citrus Bowl to go watch us tie a game. But we had Kaká, it was MLS. You know what I mean? The leagues matter. So my argument on the pro relegation has always been: will people follow their club into the pit of despair? Okay, I since I've been following Stevenage, I have seen Bury, I have seen Macclesfield disappear, I have seen Sheffield Wednesday, I have seen get huge point deductions. We almost saw Tottenham get relegated, which would have been a disaster for that club. West Ham is in the championship, which a lot of people never thought that was going to happen. Uh, Another one that is not talked about, Stoke City was relegated. I think it's been almost 10 years since they were relegated from the EPL, and they're still struggling to get out of the mid-range championship team. In the United States, I have seen people who follow the EPL, and if their team gets relegated, they just pick a new one the following year, or they do the Glory Hunter way of picking a team that is relegation proof. That is not that is not pro relegation. When you get to pick and choose who you want to follow, and relegation has its evils. Relegation, uh, there's layoffs. Players need to be sold. There's a lot of things that affect the local community's economy when relegation happens. So this idea that John and I and the guys here on the show can put $100 together, start a team in the 10th division, get promoted every year, and all of a sudden we have a Real Madrid in our hands is a fantasy. It just doesn't happen that way. Okay, if we were to start a team in the 10th division of English football today, it will probably take us 30 to 40 years to get all the way to the EPL. And
That's
I,
if everything goes right, David.
right, exactly. And I would like to. I would have loved for Luke to be here because he has a more understanding grasp on this concept. I know a lot of people have this idea. Well, I watched the Wrexham story play out on their show, and all it takes is money, and you get up there. They forget that Wrexham spent 16 years in the National League, almost got relegated out to the National League North, which is the sixth division of football, and a lot of teams can't not make it back out of there. They are to get promoted into the League Two. You either have to win the league or you have to win the playoffs. And you saw that even with the money, it was difficult. That team was owned by the fans because nobody wanted to buy them. That team didn't even own the land where the stadium was built. Didn't even own the stadium because of all the bad dealings they had. That team was about to die. A team born in the 1860s was about to die, and the ownership that the famous ownership that owns Wrexham bought that team. I believe I think they paid like £1.5 million or £2 million for the place. So but basically what they bought was the name and debt, nothing else. So you have to understand that while yes, the concept of building a team from scratch and see it go all the way up is real, but it's not going to be something that is going to happen overnight. Also, you have to build a fan base. Can you go to people and say, "Hey, we have this team in the 10th division, and it may take us decades to get to the promised land. Are you willing to invest time, money, effort into this?" Because a lot of these teams in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th division, the staff are volunteers, are people that work for free trying to build the club. There's a team in England, hashtag United, that started as a gimmick on YouTube, and they've been trying to get to the promised land. And I believe that the last thing I heard about them, they were in financial trouble. The fact is, friends, that just like you can go up, you can go down, and coming back up is very difficult. And I have a hard time trying to say, yes, these billionaires are investing in MLS. They are doing so because it's a guarantee that their team is going to be in the league next year, regardless of what happens. And for the people saying, "Oh well, all these people are investing, all these millionaires are investing in overseas football because MLS is poor quality," no, the reason why is because MLS is expensive to get into, and it's cheaper to go overseas to buy a team in the lower leagues and then push them through to the professional ranks. I, Again, I would love to see promotion relegation one day in the United States, but I just don't think that the American fan has the stomach for it. And when you see the drop of quality between USL and MLS in attendance, in quality of the uniforms, quality of the game, quality of the stadiums, size of the fan bases, it's so abysmal at this point. It's just The only thing, the only thing, John, that I can think that can work is it would replicate the English model. I mean, I'm sorry, the German model, where each league is like Bundesliga one, two, three. You know what I mean? And so if we have MLS one, two, and three or four, and then perhaps we may bundle that because we create a promotion relegation artificially, because the teams, yeah, they're going to a different division, but still the same entity. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way
Yeah.
I can see it working out.
Well,
But
and the way German ownership is completely different anyway,
mhm,
because they have the 50+1 rule and everything, which I don't even fully understand. But essentially, it means that the supporters, the fan base, has to
right,
own
South America does it the
51%,
same way. Yeah.
51% of each club. But to go back with what you were saying about Wrexham and it just being money, if it really was just money, then why isn't everybody doing it? Why don't you see Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, the two richest guys in the world, going and buying a soccer club in England?
You
You
know.
know, and to put it even further, okay, Wrexham last year was in the championship, right?
Yes, they don't. You go promote
Yeah.
to the championship. Yeah.
So last year they reported an operating loss of nearly $20 million.
Hmm.
So a lot of that was because of the difference in the wage gap between the championship and League One.
Correct. Correct. Because
So most rich people aren't going to purchase something for, a little bit of money that basically, in order to do well, you have to lose money. And that's the way it is with promotion and relegation, period. Yes, there's a huge bonus going from the championship to the Premier League. Huge bonus. There's a huge bonus for staying in the Premier League.
hmm
But over there, the way the salary model is, the salary cap, if you will, most of those teams spend very close to what they make every year,
hmm
on player wages
yeah.
and on transfer fees, because that's the most they're allowed to go. So if you have a team, and I'm just throwing a team out there that it is a smaller, what I consider a smaller club, you take that's in the Premier League, and has been for a couple seasons. You take Brentford and what they're able to, the type of player that they're able to buy. They may
hmm
be able to buy one semi superstar, you know, every couple years if they're lucky. But then you take a team like Manchester United or your Liverpool or your Arsenal or even Chelsea or your Manchester United, and you look at the players that they're bringing. Yes, on the field they may not do well occasionally, especially Manchester United and Chelsea. But you got to think the transfer fee is typically gigantic. I remember there was one year that Chelsea brought in over $1 billion worth of transfer fees a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's you can't continue to do that and be successful financially. And no, very few people are want to have that risk of, well, I'm going to spend all this money and put all this money in. Yes, sponsors are in there, you know, revenues in there from the club and all that, but they're still having to put their money to buy these teams.
hmm
And there's a reason only a certain number of billionaires are buying Premier League clubs. There's a reason that only a certain number of millionaires from the U.S. are buying, the lower division clubs, you know, below the Premier League. And to me, just with the promotion relegation thing, you know, it's just at this time it's not obtainable. So you're asking a guy, let's take San Diego for instance, who just entered the league, paid nearly half a billion with a B dollars to enter the league, and you're asking the same owners within 10 years of them putting up that money just to join a league that doesn't include what they put towards the team for stadium or stadium upgrades, the squad, all of that, to now basically sell their stake for free because that's what it's going to have to be. The MLS isn't going to be paying these clubs out what they bought to join the league. They're not going to be, that'd be ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a chance that if their team doesn't perform well or perform okay, that they could go down into the lower division and lose a boatload of money. Yeah, you get a little bit of a bonus for being in that lower league, but you're going to lose the revenue, you're going to lose the sponsorships, you're going to lose the TV money for whatever promotion, whatever media deals in place at that time. You're going to lose all of that for less.
Yeah.
Whereas a year ago, if that happened a year ago, you had no worries about, oh, my team does poorly, we're not going anywhere. We just have to do better next year, and that's part of the problem with the MLS that I understand and I get where people come from when they're like, oh, there's no sense of urgency in the MLS
Mm-hmm.
from the owners. I completely get that because you do have your teams like, you look at the Philadelphia Union right now, or um, Salt Lake City's a team that comes to mind. Kansas City's a team that comes to mind, where their owners are just kind of okay being bottom of the table.
Yeah,
I
they're okay
get
doing
that,
okay.
which is part of the reason that it came up last week that the owners are exploring now really expanding the salary cap, getting rid of the team allocated money, and expanding the salary cap to almost six times of what it is, or five times anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and also creating a salary floor where the teams have to be at this minimum salary per season. They're going to keep the designated players, so that's not even going to factor into that. So that means you can't sign a big name player to a deal that's, let's just take Griezmann's deal that's $11 million a year, and then you have 22 other guys around him that are making a total of $4 million because the projected
Yeah.
floor was 15. You're not going to be able to do that because that designated player is not going to be in there. So that's the way without doing promotion relegation that you're able to avoid that. Hey, these owners aren't doing anything. And then you
Mm-hmm.
also look at what Columbus went through a couple of years ago. Vancouver's going through it a little bit differently because they've been doing well and their owners have really been trying to upgrade the team. But Columbus, a couple of years ago, there was talks of them moving cities because their owners were not investing in the team.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see that in every American sport. Especially in smaller markets. I mean, take the Reds, who I'm a fan of, unfortunately, right now. I mean, the last time they signed a player to a big considered a big contract was really Joey Votto 16 years ago, almost at this time. You know, and it's just you know, and people that argue that promotion and relegation will bring better quality for the national team. It won't.
It's a fallacy. No.
It won't. I mean, every other, I guarantee you that, you know, name a country that never makes the World Cup that their leagues have promotion and relegation, and they
If
can't
that was
even
the
make the
case,
World Cup.
Italy will be
Yeah,
making the
thank
World Cup
you,
every
Italy.
year.
Perfect. Yeah,
Italy, perfect example. Perfect example. Italy, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. They don't make the World Cup
and that's
every.
the biggest thing I say why I'm not in favor of relegation is you bring up Scotland. You look at every league outside of Italy, really, that's popular. The Scottish Premiership, English Premier League, Bundesliga, not Serie A, because yeah, Serie A
Ligue 1
is
in
Spain.
France,
Yeah,
yes,
Ligue
La
One in
Liga in Spain.
France. Who wins those leagues every year?
It's pretty much one or two teams, and we all know them.
Yeah,
And
exactly. One, two, maybe,
Rangers, Celtic, Scotland.
yep. And it's
Uh,
honestly recently mainly been Celtic.
yeah, and then
They win
it's
everything. They win
League in France.
their Association Cup, equivalent to our U.S. Open Cup, and they win the league.
Yep, yep,
You look at England; it's almost always Arsenal. Recently, especially, I'm saying the last 10 years, it's Arsenal, Liverpool, or Manchester City, and then you have a random Chelsea in there.
yep,
You look at Germany. Um, Munich has won the last 12 straight, I think it is, except for, I'm sorry, what's their face did win one a year or two ago. But they've won everyone but one the last 11, 12, 13 years.
yeah. All these
You
leagues
look
have
at
the top two teams. You got River and Boca in
mm-hmm,
Argentina, and then you have Nacional and the team that we got Facundo Torres from.
Palmeiras. Oh,
No,
you're
no.
saying you're okay in Uruguay.
God, I can't remember the name right now, and Uruguayans are probably throwing stones at their screens right now. Um, but anyhow, the point is that the teams that with the money tend to create this environment where people are playing for nothing because we already know who the champ is going to be. I want to give some love to a content creator from the UK.
Penarol. Penarol.
Peñarol, yeah. The his YouTube channel is the Long Play UK. The Long Play UK, and he's like an accountant that just loves football, and he talks about the business of football, and he has several videos. Um, One is talking about the same example. Just the two top videos that he has is how clubs in the lower divisions of English football survive. The other one, EPL thriving, Championship surviving, League One barely alive, and then should the Premier League introduce a salary cap, which is interesting, because the thing about it, John, is that um, football is an industry that has to generate money and has to generate revenue. One of the things that you said was, why isn't that? Why isn't Elon Musk owning a? Why can he own a team? He can,
And it's
but
it's not a lack of competition. Because
it's not sound
guys that are that
investment.
wealthy generally, not wealthy as him because he's the wealthiest, but guys that are in have billions of dollars are your extremely competitive individuals.
Extremely smart, and investing money in sports is the stupidest thing you could do. Okay, I understand. If you talk to people on social media, they're like, owners should be spending money and doing all these things for the love of the game or for the love of the badge. I'm sorry, no. If we have seen case after case after case after case, Leicester City, perfect example. Their owner was a very shrewd businessman that got that team from League One into the EPL. What happened? Unfortunately, he died. Okay, we all know that sad incident where he lives in a helicopter from the stadium. A helicopter crashes. His son takes over. The son thinks that because he's the son of this man, he automatically inherited all the powers. Ran that team to the club. That ran that team to the ground. Right now, they're in League One. Um, the thing about it is, um, you it, you can get yourself into financial trouble when your business model is, I'm going into the market selling a product that is entertainment, that is discretionary spending. That means that when the economy takes a downturn, people are not going to choose you. People are going to choose feeding their families first. When the team is not doing great, people are going to choose to stay home, watch it on TV, or not come at all. One of the things that I learned with Stevenage is that when the team sells the jersey to the fans, right, the team only makes 2% out of the sale of the jersey. 2%. Okay? 2%.
And
And
here with the MLS, I don't know what the percentages are, but the
it's
majority of the percentage that would go to the team actually goes to the league because it's the league that
right.
owns that
Just
contract.
like when people say, "Oh, my team," I've seen people do this because they don't know. My team is a sold out all the time. It doesn't matter because in MLS is share revenue. Okay, so if your team is dead last in attendance, like Miami was a few years before Messi, where they were like dead last, averaging 12,000 people per game. Obviously, they choose to magically forget that. Or your team is a LAFC or Seattle Sounders that have a full house. It doesn't matter. Everybody gets equal parts of that pie. The reason why football in the United States, soccer, has been able to survive is because Don Garber, the evil genius, the guy that gets all the hate from every single fan in this country, decided that in order for teams to survive, it has to be a communal entity because the problem with leagues like NASL, the 1.0 NASL, the 2.0 NASL that died in 2017, the problem with these leagues and USL to an extent has been able to do this is like, okay, you're gonna be an independent club. Your survival is up to you. The league is only here to oversee the competition, grant money for being part of the league, grant money for all the different contracts that the league will have, like broadcasting, et cetera, et cetera.
So,
But
David, real
yeah,
quick,
but
USL clubs are franchises of United
there are also
Soccer.
franchises.
Yes.
Yeah, I assume that I assume that they were independent because everybody gets to do their own deals with advertising. You can see that the different clubs have different agreements with manufacturers or jerseys and stuff like that. So thank you for correcting me on that, John. But one of the things that happens is basically you're on your own in the pro relegation. You're on your own. You gotta generate your revenue. You generate your sponsorships. You gotta manage your overhead. Like I was telling you, I thought buying the jersey that all that money was going to the club, and that's not the case. So there's a lot of things happening that MLS doesn't have to worry about because MLS as a group negotiates and everybody gets an equal part of the pie. Now and that's how we managed to go through the lean years before the superstars decided to come here. People are like, oh, MLS is a retirement league. So what? People pay money to go see these aging stars, like it or not. You could have a league. You could have a league that had a lot of great football. Listen, when in NASL, when my hometown Barman, Puerto Rico had the Puerto Rico Football Club. They had a lot of talented players there. And ASL was a great product. The problem with NASL is they did two things that were basically a shotgun to the mouth. Number one, they wanted to go after MLS for Division One recognition by the federation, which that will never happen because MLS and the federation are in bed together. That's a known fact. And two, they they had no stars. They had no stars. NASL had no stars, while MLS had at the time Kaká, David Villa, they had Pirlo, and all these other guys. What did NASL had? No one. So nobody was going to those games, and there was a lot of cities where NASL and MLS lived side by side. And what happened? The league died, and the teams that managed to survive are in the championship now, USL Championship. So this, like I said, I would love for somebody to have the vision to bring the biggest loudmouths about the pro relegation and to have a healthy debate live, because every time you try to talk to these people, they don't want to come to a forum like this one. Oh, you're gonna edit it so to make you make me look better, make you look better. Listen, I don't have to do that. The argument for pro relegation, as stated by the pro relegation crowd in the United States, is flawed. Is flawed. I want pro relegation, but in a system that is going to foster business and enterprise. I have my bachelor's is is a business degree. I have a bachelor's degree in technology management. Okay, and I worked in the most competitive industry in this country, healthcare. Okay, healthcare in the United States is the best in the world because it's an open market. I know some political forces are gonna tell you that this country has free healthcare or nationalized healthcare, and this is better than this because you have to have insurance. That those people go and get it for free. First of all, there's no such thing as free, and second of all, um, there's no incentive for those nationalized systems to come to purchase products from companies like mine that have research and development that invest millions of dollars before making a dime to create products that make your healthcare better. And now I make my territory, if I may step away from the football, the territory that I manage, which by the way, if you have a joint replacement in Central Florida, is my hands touching that equipment to make sure that you get optimal care. My territory is a $500 million territory a year. Yours truly manages that and makes sure that that we're effective. One account associated with Orlando City, in Orlando, I'm not gonna say more, makes has 16 surgeries like of this type a week, and sometimes a day, and they make millions. So again, open market will always create the environment for investment, but there's risk. There's risk, my friends. There's risk, and you cannot go to people. For example, the Will family, it Google them. They came to this country penniless, built a $5 billion empire in construction. Those folks, God bless them. They want to invest in football in the NFL, and in MLS and NWSL, but it's part of their portfolio. I get mad when people are like, "Oh, Mark Wilf should be writing checks left and right." Great. My team Stevenage last year operated in the red, £1 million in third division, just to keep the lights on. A company and a business that operates in the red is not making any revenue, is not making any money, and eventually you have to die. The environment will destroy you. I People need to understand that the world operates on money, and I finish with this on this topic. My my experience and my opinion as a professional is teams have to operate on the black. Teams have to make money. Orlando City, you may not like the end results that we have. Orlando City is one of the few clubs in MLS that makes money and stays buoyant and makes money for their ownership. Okay, because we have people in the front office that are very smart and understand that they are keepers of the owner's purse, and they make sure that we do that. Would would I love to be like Miami and LAFC and all these clubs? Great, but they're not profitable clubs. But because they're in a closed system, they can
Well,
go straight.
Miami actually made a profit of approximately $50 million last
They
year.
did.
But yeah,
Wow. Okay.
according to Google, that's what they said.
Okay. But well,
LAFC did as well. But you got to think it's marketing and advertisement, what they charge. If you want the Wilfs to spend like Miami or LAFC, look at their ticket prices.
but which by the way are affordable. Credit where credit is due, John. Our tickets are fairly affordable. A season ticket in the supporter section in Miami will set you back $4,500. I'm not making that up. Anybody can Google this. I tell people all the time, and for the benefit of those on audio, I'm pointing to my phone. You have the knowledge of humanity in your pocket. You don't have to take my word for it.
Heck, I mean, we sit there and make fun of our supporter groups all the time for charging $20. Imagine being a part of Miami to join one of theirs. It's in the hundreds. It's at least 100.
You
Last time I
kidding?
looked, it was like $125 to join one of their supporter groups.
Wow.
So, but the last thing I will say about this, and then we have a couple more things to touch on. Um, David and I both, and I'll speak for you here, David,
Mm-hmm.
aren't saying the MLS is perfect. If you watch either show, the live show or this show enough, you'll know that we don't think the MLS is perfect. Do changes need to be made? All over the place. Yes. No organization, no league is perfect. But promotion and relegation is one of those things that at this time, with where the league is unattainable. It's not going to happen. And if you really truly cared about the sport as you say you do, you wouldn't be a fan of Liverpool. You wouldn't be a fan of Manchester United. You wouldn't be a fan of Manchester City. You wouldn't be a fan of Arsenal. You wouldn't be a fan of Munich. You wouldn't be a fan of PSG. You wouldn't be a fan of Real Madrid. You wouldn't be a fan of Barcelona. Because if you're a fan of one of them and you're not a fan of Stevenage or what's Luke's team from his hometown,
Blackpool.
Blackpool, or you know a team like teams like those that are in the that aren't in that top division, you're just a glory hunter. Even if it's a Fulham that's traditionally in the Premier League, you're just a glory hunter, and you don't really care about the sport. You care about what you're getting from the sport, which is what the MLS is there for, is to provide the
Mm-hmm.
service to you as a form of entertainment. So moving on, focus solely on our club now, on Orlando City. And real quick, thank you to everybody that's watching or listening to this. We'd love to know your thoughts. If you have something to add with what we want to say, if you want to be on and take up the entire episode debating promotion relegation or debating anything, let us know. Leave a comment, drop us a DM on any of our socials. We'd love to have you on. Drop us a comment if you disagree with us, and we'll touch on it next show. We try to have these weekly, especially with the season going on. And if you are not already, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all of our social media channels. Everything across the board is in 90 minutes or in 90 minutes
Mm-hmm.
pod. Either one you pull up will, if you just search in 90 minutes on all of them, it will pull up our page as one of the top ones. So moving on. Tomorrow night we play Monterey in the first match of League's Cup. I do have an article that I'm working on right now. It should release by noon tomorrow about the League's Cup and a little bit more about why me personally and us as a show um, don't care for it much, other than our clubs in it. Um, and I'm gonna try to stay away from the talk about a certain person and about the team to the south of us, David. I'm just going to try to avoid that. That horse has been beaten enough over the last 3 years. But the tournament began as an exhibition between the top two teams in the MLS and the top two teams in Liga MX from Mexico. And then in 2023, 24, 24, I believe it was, we all of a sudden had this tournament where it was going to be the teams from MLS play the teams from Liga MX, and they were all going to be here. Everybody and their brother saw it as a money grab of the MLS and Liga MX, which, by the way, Liga MX just sustained their position that they're not doing promotion relegation again anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first issue with the tournament and why I don't care to go to spend my money on the tickets, because again, the club doesn't see much of that money that the tournament does. Obviously, if somebody wants to give me tickets, like I said on the show Monday, I'll take them. I'll be there to support the boys in a heartbeat. But I'm not spending my money on this tournament. I'll watch it on Apple that I already pay for. And 2 years ago, in fact, I didn't even go to the tournament. So no, it was 2023 that
Yeah,
it
where
started.
we boycotted the tournament.
24 is when the boycotts were. Yes.
Yeah. That was very
Um,
effective because
yes.
immediately we were back in Open Cup.
So that was kind of the first thing that happened with the tournament. It was just looked at as a money grab. Um, and then the following season, it came out in like January, right before the season was about to begin. Camps were already open. That MLS was not going to compete in the U.S. Open Cup because of schedule congestion. Now, mind you, this is a tournament. If Orlando City makes it to the finals, they will have to schedule at least 3 or 4 matches,
Yeah,
which will be added on into the last two months of the season. That doesn't happen with the U.S. Open Cup. You maybe have to reschedule one match because the league and the U.S. soccer is in communication for these are the dates that these are going to happen. These the U.S. Open Cup games are going to happen. Don't schedule one on them. But you know, but all of a sudden, Leagues Cup comes and it's schedule congestion. We're not doing the U.S. Open Cup. Why? Because again, it's not profitable, and that's all the MLS cares about under Don Garber. So those are the two biggest reasons. The third, like I said, we're not going to touch on. The article touches on it a little bit, but either way, we do the boys do take on Monterrey, one of the giants from Mexico, tomorrow night. I believe it's a 6 o'clock match. Isn't it a weird time?
6:30 kickoff.
6:30.
Really?
I believe
That's
it's a weird time. No, it is 7:30. Sorry, it's Saturdays. It's Saturdays at 6:30 against Leon. So we take on Monterrey tomorrow night at 7:30 at Interinco Stadium, and that's another thing. This tournament, as far as a global view, a macro view of it, will not be taken seriously until the Mexican clubs get home matches.
absolutely.
It's an atrocity that they don't get home matches. Period. And so we do take on Monterrey. We touched on it a little bit last night. I think personally, I think we're going to go for it tomorrow night and kind of just wait and see what the wait and see what the result is. If we lose, that'll see what we do on Saturday. Obviously, I want to win every tournament, every trophy we can. Obviously, if we win a trophy with Leagues Cup, it takes a little bit of the pressure off of winning the U.S. Open Cup because we automatically qualify for Champions Cup. Or if we get second or third, we automatically qualify for Champions Cup. But you look at the state of the team right now and what we have coming up in the next month and a half, and our schedule the next 31 days from tomorrow, from when this show releases. We have 8 matches in 31 days. Between August 5th and September 5th, we have 8 matches. That's a lot of matches for this sport that generally plays only once a week.
Hmm.
We have a team that this season, or last 2 seasons really, has caught the injury bug. It seems like we always have a key player injured. Right now, Tincho Ojeda's injured. We'll see what the injury report looks like for tomorrow. I still haven't seen anything released. I didn't see one for the matches tonight. We'll see what the lineup looks like tomorrow, see if anybody's injured or anything like that. I would keep an eye on it. I'm leaving it at that. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But we have to rest our players. We have one of the top 4 or 5 most important matches in our club's history coming up on, was it September 16th, I believe,
Hmm.
where we go to Columbus, who's flying high right now, who I think they just beat. Who'd they just beat? They just beat somebody. But they just won tonight 3-1. I saw it come up here. I missed it. But I saw it on X. But they won tonight 3-1, pretty handedly. A lot of Orlando City fans see that Columbus has struggled this year, see that they're not the team that they usually are,
Oh,
and we're
Atlas, which is
Atlas. Thank you.
Rodrigo Schlegel's team, by the way. So these are the results, John, for today's opening of League's Cup. Columbus beat Atlas 3-1. Uh, Cincinnati beat Pachuca, I believe yeah, Pachuca three
Pachuca,
to
yep.
one. Uh, Minnesota beat what is this thing? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The my screen is super small. Juarez. Actually, Juarez beat Minnesota 2-1. And wow, this is surprising. Charlotte beat Pumas 3 nil. And as we're recording this, halftime, Tigres is tied with RSL, and Vancouver is tied with Atlante on the 34th minute, 0-0. And tomorrow's games are going to be Rayados Monterrey with us, Miami against San Luis, uh, the SC Dallas against Querétaro, and Nashville against Leon, Pachuca against Seattle, LAFC against Chivas, New York City against Santos Laguna, Cruz Azul against Philadelphia, Chicago against Necaxa, Austin against Tijuana, Club America against San Diego. That's gonna be interesting based on the fact that it's a border city. We'll see how that goes. I would have loved to see San Diego against Tijuana. That's a international derby. I will pay money to watch. Uh, uh, Portland against Puebla, and that's basically it. These are all the matches coming up. So, to build on what you said, John, I'm with you. I think that you should go for every trophy that you have. We're banged up. Making playoffs is to win our own league is questionable. Open Cup is 2 games. We lift a trophy and everything that comes with that. I'd rather put our eggs on that basket. And unfortunately, this tournament originally started as an exhibition, like you said. Then we went to top 4 teams in each conference played the top 8 teams in Mexico, which I thought it was beautiful. You are rewarding uh, teams that did very well the past season with going toe to toe with the best of the best in the Mexican League. But now we went to everybody plays. Now the teams that make players play, and we are started playing all these games, and then we sacrifice our intervention in the Open Cup in favor of a cash grab. This tournament has been made exclusively to give Messi an excuse to lift a trophy, to play champions, all this other stuff. And for us in Orlando City, every year, because of our geographical proximity, we have to play them in their house. They can never play in ours. We always have to. We always lose to refereeing decisions that are they don't even hide it. In fact, the year they won this ugly looking coffee maker trophy, that the footage for that game that was so obvious that the refereeing decisions were being shown to Miami. It was went worldwide. If you go on TikTok, people use this
It's
as
international news. International
yeah, it was
news.
international news. People are like, look how obvious it is. Messi should have been sent off with a second yellow. You have him asking for yellows, which on its own is a yellow card. Asking for yellows when players never made contact with him. At saying that Cartagena had a handball when you can clearly see that wasn't the case. And conveniently, VAR all doesn't operate in this areas. The fact is, to me, after 2 years of being given the shaft when we play Miami, I'm like, I don't care. It has no value. We don't play Mexican teams in their house. It's a cash grab. And you may ask yourself, what's in it for the Mexican League? The Mexican League knows that their fan base in the United States has the money. They will come in huge numbers. They will pay for that ticket in US dollars, and they make a ton of money for it because obviously the MLS, it has a financial incentive to invite these clubs, and these teams were using this as a way to fund transfers. Same transfers they use against us when they show up with these clubs that are basically based around 6 or 7 DP caliber players, which I'm making air quotes. So I don't care for it. I'm through and through Orlando City. I just think that the fact that August is such a complicated month where we have to be stay healthy to face Columbus and beat them in their house in order to make the final showdown of going to play for the final here at home, or they're at home in Orlando because I'm not in Orlando right now, is a tall task. And honestly, my friends, like I said on the main show, making playoffs is very very unlikely based on our record right now. So I don't care for it. I think is a farce, and it's not a true tournament when your opponents don't get to play at home, and that while Orlando City punched above its weight last year, at the end we were outdone by the referees. And I'm a firm believer that as long as Messi is playing in this league, you're never gonna have a fair shot at winning. You're never gonna have a fair shot at winning. And by the way, Miami's playing with Luis Suarez, who has a 6 game ban from the tournament based on the disgusting, classless, knuckle dragging, troglodyte display that Miami had at losing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, see the reaction of Argentina when they lost to Spain, and see the reaction of Inter Miami. Disgusting.
Very similar. Very similar.
Disgusting. Exactly the same. Because leaders that behave like petulant children, okay, cannot give good examples. When Miami defeated us at home, rightfully so, Messi was going around telling people, "Do you want my autograph?" Acting like a buffoon in front of our fans. Stayed on the pitch to get all the adulation from his boneheaded worshippers, because they're not really fans, they're worshippers. And when we went to his house, down 3-0, and we came back to win it 4-3, who was the first person down the tunnel? Exactly. The guy that some of you say he's the best in the world. I'm sorry. To be the best in the world, you have to exemplify qualities of sportsmanship and being a gentleman. And he has none of that. Has never expressed none of that. So Inter Miami act like buffoons. By the way, not only Luis Suarez had the audacity to spit on a gentleman in his 60s, went and grabbed him by the throat. That's the reason why that thug is not playing in League's Cup this year. And then their manager has the audacity to say that they don't know how they will do without Luis Suarez. He's a huge loss. Listen, Luis Suarez, the thug, should have thought about that before going to go after somebody old enough to be most of you that are listening or watching, a guy your dad's age that is just a staffer, and spit on him and try to choke him. Why? Because you lost. You that's why I don't take them seriously. If you win and you act like a buffoon, and you're like, oh, look at me. But then when you lose, your reaction is attacking other players and punching people and spitting.
Well, and
And
I'll say this, David, because
no,
I wanted to try to avoid talking about it, but every year, and I touch on it in the article too, every year that this League's Cup tournament has been in its current form, there's been a controversy with that team. I'll just say that
absolutely.
last year there were multiple during the tournament.
Hmm.
But I really want to know what you think. Let's say we win tomorrow night. Let's just say the the meteor's going to hit planet Earth, and we somehow come out with a victory. I find it very hard that you don't go for it on Saturday.
Right. But at what cost, John? Because
Exactly. Well, but you got to think the owners of this league, whether the Wilfs are one that care about this tournament or not, the owners of this league are given the mission to make this an important tournament. So they're going to follow that.
yeah,
So you know from the very top down, it's been told we need to take Leagues Cup seriously, and I just find it hard to believe that if we win or barely, barely lose or draw, like it'd have to be like a 3-0 loss for us not to try on Saturday.
I can tell you this, John. I Let's say we win. Okay, let's explore scenarios. Let's say we win. Yes, uh, the competitive nature in us says let's go for it, because out of our group, uh, Rayados is the best team there is in that group as far as Mexican teams. San Luis is a team that we defeated last year single handedly, and I believe Leon is the other one, another team that we kicked around. So we make it out of the group, right? And once again, is the conundrum of do we invest? Which I remind everybody, we were out of the Open Cup by this time last year.
You're out of
So
the Open Cup
now,
after the second match last year.
yeah, yeah, we were. I believe it was the second match, which was with Nashville, because we won the first one. I want to say it was Rowdies.
No, we didn't play the Rowdies last year. I'll look. Keep talking.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Uh, so the my point is, we were out of the Open Cup, so it was okay to go for it. It's a trophy, might as well, right? But this year, the risk versus reward with
There,
Open
you were
Cup.
right. It was the Rowdies. How did I forget that match? That was a fun
Yeah,
match.
that
It
Gustavo.
was at the Rowdies.
It was 4-0. I think it was like 4-0.
5-0.
Gustavo,
5-0.
the final, Gustavo
5-0.
Cannavaro.
Caraballo had a brace. Enrique scored. Duncan scored. And DDT scored.
Wow, look at that. Talking about the who's who of Orlando City. And so you have a situation in which the Open Cup is two games, and one of them is a final at your house if you make it. And our competition, they are winnable games on paper. We say football's played on grass and on paper, but it's not like we have to face LAFC or Miami or Vancouver or any of these teams that are, Nashville, or any of these teams that are, right now. Uh, Open Cup is the one tournament where you get punished if you do well. If you win the whole thing, you don't get to participate in it the following year, which is probably the most incredible dumb thing to do. Last year's champion does not get to defend their trophy. They don't get to participate. You have to quote unquote do bad in Leagues Cup, bad in MLS, in order to participate in the Open Cup. So Open Cup right now, when it comes to MLS teams, is like people that had bad seasons are in it. So it's an opportunity to go win it. Like I said, there's prize money, there's a spot in the champions, and it's a trophy. The playoffs is a possibility. Even if you make them, is not a guarantee that you're gonna win the MLS Cup. And with Leagues Cup, that you are going against Mexican competition that can destroy you if you are not careful. And we saw last year how we went all the way to play Miami, cheated out, because that's the word, cheated out of a spot in the final, laid an egg in the third spot game, and we come home to basically fail out of the playoffs because we put so much stock into our enterprise that it was fruitless.
So, David,
So
real quick before you
yeah,
go on, For you got it backwards with Open Cup and Leagues Cup. Leagues
Go ahead,
Cup,
brother.
it's a Leagues Cup. It's the top 18 clubs from the MLS
Uh-huh.
based on the Supporter Shield window, and it's if you qualify for Open Cup, you technically had a bad year the year before. You said it the opposite. So I just wanted to make that clear
Okay.
that
Thank you, brother. Come on, it's 11:30.
no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you for correcting me. But to wrap up my views about this, um, I like I said, I can't reiterate this enough. Do you go out there and play Antoine Griezmann for, first of all, risking him to injury, exhaustion. All right, we already seen a lot of our players fall to exhaustion and travel and injuries that have happened in practice. Do you run the risk of a guy that you invested so much money and that so many hopes are riding on a what I feel a fool's errand, or do you just go through the motions? I'm here, so I won't get fined. If we were to lose, I would like to see the next two games just an opportunity for our bench, our OCB players to get valuable minutes against meaningful competition. And let's be honest, no one cares who is the League's Cup champion. Nobody, even the teams that have won it, don't you know when if you talk to Miami people, they always say, "Oh, MLS Cup," right? And the League's Cup was never a factor for them. Support is at the same level as supporter shield. Nobody, it's nice to put that in your treasure chest in your cabinet, but it's not something that people brag about.
Well,
People want to
Supporter Shield, David, if you remember, they didn't even get the trophy because they weren't a part of the Supporters Trust or whatever it's called that the league has.
which by the way we are not. I
Yeah,
heard
we are. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
we are
We
okay.
joined it within the last 5 seasons.
Oh, okay, fantastic. Well, good to know because I mean, not like we had a chance to win the darn thing, but I
But
digress.
let me say this though, and this is the only reason because as everybody knows, I'm very competitive. Let's say we win the U.S. Open Cup, which is obtainable.
Hmm.
Let's say a miracle happens and we win the MLS Cup, but then we sat there and let Leagues Cup just wash away. Because let's say this past Saturday, the loss against New York against Red Bull was just an off night for all of us for the club for whatever reason.
Okay.
Let's just say that. So let's say that we go on a run, we make the playoffs, we win the MLS Cup, and then we're in this tournament and we just kind of let it sit and ride the wave. We're all, at least I would, gonna sit there and be like, well, what if we would have tried at Leagues Cup and we have won that and been the first MLS team to ever win a treble period, but to win the three three cups for our continent,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
because the CONCACAF isn't just North America; it also includes Caribbean countries and such, and
Right.
Central American
The
countries.
CONCACAF, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's CONCACAF. So we would be the first club to ever do that. I don't think anybody's done that in Mexico because nobody in Mexico has ever won the League's Cup. At least as it stands now, where it's an actual trophy and
Right.
an actual
I mean, and John,
competition.
we are the league of creating fake trophy, like the Championes Cup, that where the Mexican champion plays the American champion.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gives a crap about that.
They don't even do they even do that anymore?
I don't even know.
I don't think I think they took that away because of League's Cup.
Oh, they did. Okay, well,
I
look at that.
believe they did.
Look at that. So the teams that won it, they just listen. If when you create trophies and then eliminate them, they have the same value as the pie eating contest at your church's Fourth of July picnic. Okay, like for example, Orlando City displays the War on I-4 trophy. that we used to play against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That trophy is meaningless. We still have it. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if they still display the trophy for the Orlando City Invitational.
They've never.
I got to see it displayed in the Audi room, which is it's the step above the West Club. And I think finally somebody had the common decency to throw that thing away and donate that silverware to a good cause. But
Oh,
you
by
know,
the way, the Rowdies haven't beat us in 8 attempts. I'm just throwing that out there.
no, for sure. They had defeated OCB, but they had never defeated the first team in
Yes,
competition.
when OCB used to play in USL
You're correct.
before. Yeah.
And at the time, it was the disadvantage in quality.
Yeah, and I mean, we showed how much of a superior club we are
Oh, that to
when
me,
we
John.
played
To
them
me,
this past
that
year.
rivalry is dead. After we defeated them in 2022, to me, we're
Well,
not
it's
we're not
to me, it's that little brother rivalry. You know what I mean? To
we're
me,
not at the same level, brother. We are
no.
not at the same level. So,
Well,
so
neither is your little brother either. But when your kid's your little brother, isn't that's when it's typically
right,
the
but
best.
this is my issue with while it's part of our history. There were monumental games. It was David versus Goliath. That's why when our supporters chant the rowdies in MLS. I mean, honestly,
Well,
we are we,
that's to me, yes, that we shouldn't be chanting about another team. Period. But unless it's when that's one thing that irked me. I'm gonna go
like
back. That one thing that irked me about the Nashville game,
mhm.
and I don't know if you heard it, but it was pretty loud where I was when Mukhtar was taking a corner kick, and our fans were chanting a certain derogatory term, Hani,
Really.
and it starts with an F. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't racist. To me,
Okay,
it's not
okay,
terrible
okay.
compared to
All
what it
right.
could have been, but it was just basically you know F Hani Mukhtar basically.
Okay.
That irked me beyond belief because why are you going to chant another player's name? Period. You
Well,
know,
first of all, on my weekly contractual job at the supporter groups that I have for this with the show,
and it
uh,
wasn't. It wasn't. I will start. It wasn't started necessarily by the supporter groups or by the capos.
right, it was on
It
the
was started.
wall.
It was just the
Okay.
wall started, and then other people
Right.
joined
And
in. Yes,
wall and supporter group membership are not one and the same, and they're not equal
correct.
to each other. I have to say, you could barely hear the wall. I was surprised the first time ever that I go to a game where there's no active boycott or whatever, where you could barely hear on the south side what was being said.
A
Because,
lot of new faces in the wall. I will say that a
well,
lot of new faces in the wall. Um, at least from where I was sitting. Not saying I recognize everybody, but
yeah,
you can tell if it's people that habitually go to matches or people that they don't go to many or maybe it was even their
even
first
the
match.
drums, John, it was like very low.
Really,
I was disappointed.
I didn't think the drums were any different, but it could have been the heavy
Oh,
air
there's
too.
a right there,
You
brother.
got to think. You got to think how heavy that. And I'm serious. You got the smoke that's on the picture behind me is from that night. The picture, my background picture is from that night, and
Yeah.
that smoke was from the fireworks that almost never lingers on the field, and it lingered on the field for quite a while.
Hmm.
But when it comes to Leagues Cup, it's such a double edged sword. It's less of a double edged sword to me than the question that was brought up in Den After Dark on Saturday after the match. But you know, it's just the match against Columbus is such an important match for the season for our
Monumental,
history.
John. It
Yeah,
saves our season, my friend.
exactly. I wouldn't say it saves the season, but it makes you feel better about the season. You
Hmm.
know, it's kind of like in college football and college American football. Me being an Ohio State fan, when we beat the team up north, if we had a bad season, which we haven't had a bad season since 2011, but when we have a bad season, as long as we beat the team up north, we don't care. It's kind of the same similarity there with the Open Cup this year.
I understand.
But I want to add trophies to the cabinet, whether it looks like a coffee pot or not. What you said yesterday tickled me. How your grandmother's had the League's Cup, for
Yeah, yeah.
60 years or whatever it was.
I said that both of my. As I asked, I mean, are you telling me that both of my grandmothers are Leagues Cup champions because they had that Greca, we call it a Greca in Puerto Rico, that silver coffee percolator. I think that's what
Yeah, there you go. That's the word. I couldn't think of it.
percolate,
Yes.
right? For the benefit of those listening, we posted the on our social media the image because I thought it was very funny, and so yeah, it was a moment of I thought it was funny, a moment of comedic
It
timing.
tickled me because the image that we showed and that we have on there is a very done up image of the League's Cup. It's not that shiny. It's not that pretty.
It's
I
yeah,
remember when I saw Miami, when I saw the championship, and I saw Miami do it. One, when they did it back in 23 in the first one, it had like a big gash in it or a ding in it, and it was just hideous looking.
yeah.
But it's not a good looking trophy whatsoever.
Whoever thought that was going to be, it's ugly. I'm sorry, it is. It looks like like one of those bowls that grandma used to like put candy on. You know what I'm saying, or
Yeah.
almonds or whatever. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, it just doesn't look pretty, and it's so odd. It's like they're holding a punch bowl.
Well,
I
usually you see the trophies be taller than they are wide. And yes,
right.
this one is slightly taller than it is wide, but it's so wide and not tall at the same time. It just looks weird, or it's like a plate.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
places do like a shield or a plate, and it looks a little bit better. But it
Some
just
trophies are ugly. Like for example, in the Israeli Premiership, the trophy. I don't know if it has changed because my team hasn't won it in a while. But it used to be it was like a cerebral plate, like the ones that you see in like tennis tournaments. And to me, anything that is like a shield that you're holding, like this, and um, you know, I'm raising my arms when I do that. It just it That's why to me the World Cup trophy is just perfect because it's the right size. It's something that everybody, regardless of their size, you can see a child hold it or an adult hold it, and he still has the same prestige. You know what I'm saying? I think that we should, which by the way, the MLS Cup over the years had different designs. I think the one that we have right now is just beautiful, and it should remain that way for years to come. But yeah, to conclude the thing about the Leagues Cup, we wish our club the best. I'm gonna watch tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in a hotel away from home. I have nothing else to do. Definitely gonna watch it, and not only that, Saturday. While I'm not going to the game, I'm gonna watch it from home. And the following Wednesday, hopefully the boys can do something about it. But my focus right now is on August 15th when we return to MLS hostilities and FC Cincinnati. I mean, right now is what keeps me up awake at night. But yeah, as a club, every season starts with a lot of hope. Obviously, reality brings us back to earth, and I just hope that as a club we can have a good tournament and a good showing and hopefully get something out of it, whatever that is or however that looks like.
definitely. And just to let everybody know, um, the US U20s that has Colin Gusky on it did beat Guatemala tonight, three to
Beautiful.
one. Um, so they do face, I believe it's Costa Rica next, um, in the semifinals of the Concacaf U20 championships.
Right.
Obviously, the best team wasn't brought. Just from our team. Justin Ellis should have been a part of that
Hmm.
um, as well. I don't know why he didn't play, but he didn't. So it's not even our best U20s. Like who would, if this was a U20 World Cup, who would have been in it? So congratulations to them. That match just ended about 45 minutes ago. Came back actually. They were down 1-0. I don't have any details on how the U.S. played or anything, but or I'm sorry about how Gusky played. But I can look that up actually real quick. Give me 1 second here. See if there's that information. Um, there is not. There is not. So they don't. They didn't. I believe it. Yeah, they didn't have a live. They don't have the ratings on there for the youth tournament. Um, I saw he was starting. There he is. See if they have any stats. Got a pretty good match. 83% passing. Um, really didn't do much else than pass the ball. Had one shot off target.
Hmm.
But he got the start. Good for him. I believe he started as a right back, according to what I saw on X. He was playing the right back position, so a little bit different for him. Probably fits him a little bit better than that midfield, being that he's not doesn't have that thicker stature you usually see from defensive midfielders. But good news for them. Good news for our country that we're moving on and now qualified for the U20 World Cup.
All right, fantastic. That's awesome to hear. Um, do we have anything else, John?
I think that's it. I think I'm about talked out for the night. I'm exhausted. Working two
Yeah, I'm
jobs now,
exhausted.
so
We all have to work. Hopefully, you guys took something out of the show. And if there's anything else that you would like for us to cover in this format, please let us know. Again, the invitation is there for anybody that wants to join. John, this is a rarity for me to be able to be doing this because my schedule really doesn't help. But I The sad thing about this week is I don't get to have an extra show to listen to because I personally I don't tend to listen to our show because I already know what was said. I already know how I feel about topics, but what I want to hear myself say the same things over again.
you can give Lions Den recorded tonight. You can give them a listen.
Yeah, so no, for sure. I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that. Give him some love. But um, the last thing I would like to say is thank you to everybody that supports our product. We do it not for the glory and not for the money because there's absolutely none of that on this. Because we love the show, we love the club. We want the club to do better, and it's entertainment. I love it. You have to be a sicko like me. I got Orlando City license plate on my car. I have an Orlando City key to my house. While every normal person has their family on their lock screen, I have our badge instead. I podcast. I own an unhealthy amount of purple shirts and pants and hats, and I just want our club to be successful, and hopefully we get to see this. One of the things, if you have ever sat with me games at our deepest, most humiliating defeats and moments, I always say to people around me or to anybody, nobody in particular, our day will come, and none of this will matter. And hopefully we get to say that soon. We get to get back on the winning ways and lift trophies and get good news. Because unfortunately, we are going through a really rough patch. Football season is peaks and valleys, and right now we are in a canyon. So, I hopefully we get to cheer on the boys and do better. I am really looking, John. I'm really looking forward to the event with the release of our third kid, because we get to get together as a fan base. I think, John. I don't know if you will agree with me. When we have these intimate events where we're not there to watch the team play, it's just us getting together to commemorate or celebrate a moment of our club. I think I feel the connection. I feel there's a lot of people that have told me, hey, my friend or my partner, I met them at an event like this where our love for Orlando City puts us in the same place at the same time. I think it's going to be glorious to go revisit a moment of our club history that set it all in motion. That not everybody got to enjoy it. And like I said, to all of you that missed out those early years, please do not feel like there's a hierarchy in our fan base. You too can embrace those years, and maybe if you don't live through them, at least you can commemorate them and memorialize them, because the men and the women who work for our club in the USL era made what we have today a possibility. And 100 years from now, when our grandchildren, great grandchildren are celebrating all the glories of our club in a century of football, they can look back at you, myself, as the pioneers of that family's fandom for the mighty Orlando City. So, John, thank you again for the invitation. Although I think I invited myself on this one. And
Well, the invitation for you and everybody's already there. You just have to say, "Let me on the show." So,
Absolutely, absolutely, my friend.
but yeah, thank you for everybody that has watched this, and that will watch this, and for listening as well. Just as a reminder before we go, don't forget if you're new to watching us, to subscribe to us, to make sure that little bell, the little notification bell's turned on when you do subscribe, so you get the notifications of when our shows go up or go live. There's a small chance, depending on how my schedule is for next season, that we may start to do this as a live program. Again, it depends on what my schedule's like. Um, but we also post random shorts and such on there as well, especially around match day or big club announcements. So get notified for those. Follow our socials. Everything is in 90 minutes. Search that up and it'll be on there. Um, but for myself, for David, for Luke, who, like I said, couldn't make it tonight, Ahmed and Misael on the other show that generally just do the live. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. And as always, vamos, Orlando.
Schlegel's in the back.